defended the royal family during his first public engagement since Harry and Meghan's explosive claims in an interview with Oprah Winfrey. The Duke of Cambridge is the first member of the royal family to speak publicly about allegations of racism made by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex during that interview shown earlier this week. The Duke, who is second in line to the throne, was on a visit to an East London school, the first time he and his wife Kate have been seen in public since the monarchy was rocked by claims there'd been conversations and concerns raised by a senior member of the royal family over how dark Harry and Meghan's son Archie would be.
About anything.
Sir, have you spoken to your brother since the interview?
No, I haven't spoken yet, but I will do.
And can you just let me know, is the royal family a racist family, sir?
So we're very much not a racist family.
With more on that story, let's cross to London and speak to our correspondent, Lape Banjo-Olarinoye. Good to see you, Lape. Usually, the royals don't respond when a reporter shouts a question at them, or they pretend not to hear, but not this time.
Good evening to you, Charles. Yes, not this time. I'm afraid the usual royal motto of dignified silence just might not cut it this time. And we've seen that actually, because we've seen the difference in the choices that the older royals and the younger royals making about being vocal about certain things. Harry and Meghan being the perfect example. But aside from that, if we look at what Prince William did today, where he actually responded to those reporters' questions, only a couple of days ago, the Prince of Wales, Charles, also ignored a question from a reporter surrounding allegations of racism and so on, and mental health issues being ignored. So it's interesting to see the difference in responses from the younger and the older royals surrounding this. But it's also interesting to know that Prince William knows that whatever he says will make headlines, and in this instance, he's answered the question to allay those fears. You know, that they will, although the Queen has said they'll be addressed privately, they will discuss this in some form in a public way.
Well, absolutely, and you made two very interesting, very astute points there. The first one, of course, being the difference between the older and the younger royals, and the second being the Queen's statement where she said it was all going to be dealt with privately, but it seems William felt strongly enough about the accusation of racism, particularly going to a mixed school in East London, to speak out about it.
Yes, Charles, exactly. You're absolutely spot on there. He has been to an East London school in Stratford, which is a very multicultural and diverse area. And actually, when that question was being asked, he was pictured with diverse people from diverse backgrounds as well in that. So it's very tough for him to, if he decided to ignore that question, it would have been a very tough situation, and that again would have made headlines and probably added insult to injury in this case. But also the fact that, you know, the royal family, the British royal family, has a lot of relationship with Commonwealth countries. There does seem to be a dark colonial past associated, and so working closely with diverse and multicultural backgrounds is paramount, and that's the more reason why they need to really come out and say if these allegations are true or not, regarding the allegations of racism. And also, Charles, the allegations of ignored mental health concerns. You know, Meghan expressed that she was feeling suicidal and nothing was done about that. And the royal family are patrons of a variety of mental health organizations and charities, and actually when Prince William went to that school in East London, Kate was also scheduled to go to another school where her focus and what she champions is to do with mental health. So there are a lot of strong allegations here that do need to be addressed, and I don't think the British public and the world at large will accept a private apology or some sort of private discussion without us, you know, being answered to.
And of course, Lape, a lot of things were said in that interview. You mentioned the issue of mental health. You know, there was criticism of the royal family and so on. But is there a sense that the issue of race was absolutely the most damaging and incendiary allegation?
Yes, that was the most damaging. That was ultimately the nail in the coffin. And that's not to, not prioritize issues concerning mental health, but actually because of the relationship that the royal family have with imperialism and the fact that the Commonwealth exists, which is majority of countries from African and Black backgrounds as well. And not only that, they do have history of Black people being part of the royal family that were almost kind of erased from history. And if we're seeing Meghan being incorporated back into the family, and I quote Harry's own words, where that was the large part of the reasons that they decided to leave the royal family or step back, if you like, is the reasons why they've left. So ultimately, race has been the biggest part of this debacle.
But I mean, to be fair, Lape, the younger royals have certainly spent many years promoting diversity and promoting inclusion around the world, haven't they?
Yes, they have. They've also, championed a lot of things to do with mental health as well. So that's why I say this. It's not to negate the seriousness of mental health as part of these allegations, but actually the fact that their involvement is quite big in both the mental health scene as well as issues to do with race and diversity and multiculturalism, coupled with their history as the royal family. So it's very important that these allegations are addressed and are addressed quickly. We can't have long periods of silence like the royal family chose to do at the beginning when Princess Diana was sadly murdered. And so now they really do need to learn from that and speak up, particularly because of their direct involvement with this. It almost makes them look hypocritical. So I think many people are expecting a response.
And in the 30 seconds or so that we've got left, what's been the reaction to what he's said in the UK?
I think, like I said, a lot of people aren't just going to accept that dignified silence or very mundane responses to strong allegations. So a lot of people, particularly on social media, that have seen that clip going around, felt very strongly about it. The fact that, we need to hear more. We can't just hear, oh, no, we're not. We need to understand what took place, what happened, and why. Mainly because, the way the British society works is, the monarchy are the ultimate. And so if they are supposed to set those examples, they should also set examples by giving a prompt response that deals with this drama quite quickly. So I think a lot of people are definitely expectant.
Lape is, of course, our royal correspondent for today. Lape Banjo Olarinoye talking to me from London.